Well, I'm going to share the screen. Let's hope with all of this wonderful technology, at least we are becoming more familiar, right, with our remote learning. But welcome everybody. My name is Kristen and I'm from UMass Dartmouth. I'm joined by Professor Sarah Cosgrove and Mason Walmsley. They are both a professor and a student from our economics department here at UMass Dartmouth. And today we'd like to talk to you about economics being everywhere. We're really excited about the program. We're excited about UMass Dartmouth, and you might have never considered a major in economics. You might not even know exactly what it all entails. And so we're going to tell you some exciting things about the program today. So I am going to go ahead and start our presentation and let Professor Cosgrove take it away. As I said, she is the professor and department chairperson. Mason is an economics major and he's one of our student ambassadors, and I'm an assistant dean in the College of Arts and Sciences. So Professor Cosgrove, I will let you take it away.
Sure. So what I have learned in my many years, I've been at UMass Dartmouth for more than 15 years. I'll just leave it at that for now. What I have learned is that a lot of students don't even know exactly what economics is. And so I like to start with some questions from the field of economics that you may or may not have thought of as being questions from the field of economics. So things that you would be able to answer if you had a major in economics are things like, why was there a toilet paper shortage during the pandemic when toilet paper doesn't seem to be particularly related to COVID-19? If you won $500 million in a lottery, or one of the even more giant lottery jackpots we just had recently, would you have enough money for everything that you want? Some of you at first blush would say, well, of course I would. But I would challenge to say that maybe you wouldn't. You might have enough for everything you need, but not everything that you want. And economics will help us to understand the difference between needs and wants and recognize that our needs can be met, but our wants are unlimited as humans. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. Perhaps one of the things you would want to do with that $500 million is cure cancer or cure COVID or end climate change. So there are lots of great things that we could do that take a lot of money. So we're going to have to be careful about how we use our money. And lastly, it's particularly topical. We didn't put this question in after Sunday's game, but if Tom Brady could mow his lawn faster than a landscaping company, why should he still pay the landscaping company to do it? So sort of unusual questions like these are the kinds of things that you would learn the tools to be able to answer in economics. Let Kristen advance our slide. Thank you, Kristen. So exactly what is economics? Well, I like to say it's kind of like a scale, and you have two things, one on each side, and you're trying to balance them. So it's a decision-making science. And the decision-making science studies how, on the one hand, society uses its scarce resources. Even if you win $500 million in a lottery, your resources are still scarce. But for most of us, our resources are much more scarce than that. How do we use those scarce resources, those limited resources, to maximize the satisfaction of our unlimited wants, on the other hand? So we want and want and want a lot of things, a lot of great things, and we have to decide how best to use our resources to achieve our unlimited wants. One of the things you've decided to do today was to attend this presentation, to come to class. You might have thought you didn't have a decision there. Probably you don't, but in point of fact, when you go to college, you do have a decision of whether to attend class. And I always tell my students, you made a good choice, right? The time that you're giving up to come to class, you could have been doing something else, but you've chosen to come here and you've made an economic decision in making that choice. So what kinds of classes would you take? Well, everybody starts with introductory principles classes, micro and macro, and that's where we actually get a lot of students to find that they're interested in economics. They might not have known about it before. And then we dive deeper with some intermediate theory classes. We like to make sure that we have students who are capable of doing some good quality data analysis when they leave. So everyone takes a statistics class, and some of our students take what we call statistics on steroids, which is econometrics. You can learn how to manage large data sets and be able to come up with conclusions from those data sets. And then we offer elective classes in lots of different fields that are very interesting today. I'm teaching an environmental economics class this semester. My colleague is teaching health economics. We have international trade and finance, public policy, education, urban, and those are just a few of the more popular elective classes that we have. So what makes the economics major different at UMass Dartmouth? Well, what I like to say is we all really get to know each other. And I think when Mason has a chance to speak in just a minute, he can attest to this. We are a pretty small major. And so our faculty and students know each other well. Our students feel comfortable walking in our offices or our virtual offices these days, popping into our office hours and just saying, hey, I heard this on the news. What do you think about this? Or I'm thinking about taking this class or picking up this minor. What do you think about that? And so we're very collegial, not only just among the faculty, but with all of our students. We have experienced faculty with advanced degrees, and those are the people teaching our classes. At UMass Dartmouth, you won't walk into a lecture with 300 students in economics and then have a graduate teaching assistant teach part of your classes. We don't have any graduate teaching assistants in our department. And so all of your classes in economics would be taught by faculty members. We have lots of students who are pursuing internships, and they can get both academic credit, they can get paid for those at the same time, depending on the kind of internship it is. But most valuable is the practical experience they get and some ideas about what they may or may not like to do in a career. We have some students who do a practical experience by conducting research with faculty. We invite them to work with us on our own research, and they see what it's like to be a research economist. We have an economics association or a club. The majors meet periodically. It's partly social and it's partly business. So in the economics association, we sometimes invite our alumni to come and discuss career options, ways to pursue or to engage in the interview process and building a resume, what kinds of things are important there. And we invite other guest speakers to those seminars. We also have our own seminars that are research seminars. Recently, we had a discussion of the economics of the pandemic. So there's a lot going on, a lot to keep you busy and engaged. Sometimes students ask me, well, what could I do with a degree in economics? They often don't know the answer to that question. And my 30-second answer is everything a business major can do and more except accounting. Because if you're going to be an accountant, you really want to have an accounting degree. But otherwise, economics opens up a world of opportunities to you. It's such an interdisciplinary kind of a major that students go into. You can see the careers, the fields of careers that we have listed here. There's a wide variety of things, lots of business type of focused things, but also real estate and public policy, government, research, education. And by the way, you'll be able to pay back any student loans you might take out if you have an economics degree. The outlook is good for students majoring in economics.
Thank you so much, Professor Cosgrove.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mason. So I chose to go to UMass Dartmouth because it offers a great education while still being affordable. And that was important to me because I was, I'm going to school on my own money and I'm going to have to, pay for it in the future as well as right now. So originally I was considering an engineering degree. And then after that, I transferred into the business department. So I wanted to get my business administration degree. But when I started taking the economics courses like micro and macro, like Dr. Cosgrove was talking about before, I realized that it was actually the major for me. And the economics courses that I take are intriguing and they offer real world applications. So no matter what class you're taking in economics, your professor will almost always teach you like the importance of what you're doing. It's not just like you're learning something for no reason. Like there's always real world applications to what you're learning. And for me, I'm learning, like everything I'm learning makes sense and it's clear. There's always a reason to what we're doing. And as Professor Cosgrove said before, we all know each other. I mean, in the economics department, I probably know almost every single professor, and maybe I've had almost every single professor in the economics department. I've definitely been into the been into their offices and stuff like that. I've been around because of wanting to switch over. I actually I switched over because I, started talking to the, the advisors and stuff like that up in the economics department, and they kind of convinced me to switch over because I was kind of reluctant at first. But, I'm definitely glad that I made the decision to transfer my major. So here's some exciting details about my study of economics at UMass Dartmouth. So in one of my classes, urban economics that I took with Dr. Cosgrove, we did an economic impact study for the Cape Cod Marathon in Falmouth. Basically, we had the director of the race, he wanted us to do an economic impact study, which is basically how much revenue, like tax revenue, stuff like that, it'll bring to the town, the impact that it truly has. And it's not just, it's not just about money either. There's also like they wanted us to do like an environmental impact and stuff like that because they were using green resources and stuff like that. So it's there's a lot more applications than someone would think. I'm planning to continue my education and eventually obtain my doctorate's degree in economics. And my end goal is to become an economist and do research in my field, whether that be in health economics, which I'm taking right now, or there's plenty of options out there.
Well, thank you so much, Mason and Dr. Cosgrove. That was wonderful. And I know I've learned a lot from both of them about economics. It is a fascinating field. So to wrap up our presentation today, and we want to leave time for questions at the end, if you have them for either Dr. Cosgrove or Mason, we're sharing a few scenes from UMass Dartmouth. I'm not sure if you've ever visited. We're down on the South Coast. We're about an hour from Boston and an hour from Providence and very close to the ocean, which students like. But here are some scenes from our campus. We have great sports, including football. If you look at the photo that's the third across the top, that is our brand new dining hall that just opened this year. And on the bottom right-hand corner is one of the new dorm rooms. So that is a great big new building that our freshmen are enjoying this year. And some scenes from our labs and study places and lots of other wonderful students that you can see in these photos. A few fast facts about UMass Dartmouth. We have about 8,500 students. We are part of the UMass system, so you probably are familiar with some of our other campuses like UMass Boston and UMass Amherst. 8,500 is a nice number. It's not too big. It's not too small. You heard Dr. Cosgrove and Mason talk about how close-knit the economics department was. And overall, you'll make a lot of great close relationships at UMass Dartmouth. We have over 170 student organizations and clubs, everything from Greek life to clubs for the environment, sports clubs, gaming clubs, 90 plus undergraduate programs, and a lot of great diversity. You will find students from 47 different states and 53 different countries here, which is wonderful. So this is a page that you might want to take a snapshot of with your phone, because first of all, we thank you for joining us today. As Dr. Cosgrove said, you had a choice, although as she said, your teachers might have not given you that choice, but we're very glad that you're here. If you'd like more information, we would love to keep in touch with you. Dr. Cosgrove and Mason have listed their email addresses there, so take a picture and feel free to reach out. You could attend a virtual class. That's one of the benefits of being online right now. If you reach out to Dr. Cosgrove, she can find something of interest and you could join in. You could attend an open house event. We have a few of those coming up. And we've also listed a couple of websites that are really interesting. The webpage for our economics department at UMass Dartmouth and some really great resources for students with regards to economics. So again, feel free to take a snapshot of that page with your phone so that you have it. And the teachers on our meeting today, please do the same so you can refer us to some other interested students, because we'd love to hear from you. So I'm going to stop the recording at this point.